Guys, we've waited for a while. We've seen rumors for months. The 170R is finally here. The 170R. And probably for some of you guys, this is obvious news, but this is a replacement of the Gtek 160R. Also from Planet Eclipse. So the name is kind of similar, and they really just like ticked it up a version because they didn't change a whole lot. This is like just a replacement for the 160R. So the previous 160R and other Planet Eclipse guns have been known for having the AT pipe, that air transfer pipe that takes air from your tank to the regulator and then back in to the paintball gun. And with this 170R, Planet Eclipse have like eliminated that AT pipe. So to get rid of that air transfer tube, Planet Eclipse had to like rearrange some things, right? So since that air transfer tube was taking air to the regulator, they just kind of bypassed that whole deal on the 170R. So they put the regulator inside the grip frame now, kind of like we're seeing on a lot of guns, like we're seeing on some of the die guns or the other Planet Eclipse guns. So that trigger frame on the inside is gonna be a lot different, but it's still having that similar feel that the Gteks have. If you've noticed, that has the same grips as the 160R or the previous Gteks. So it still has that kind of similar frame feel or like similar trigger frame area feel as the previous Gteks did. So to free up a lot of that space on the inside of the grip frame, Planet Eclipse moved that 9-volt battery into the foregrip. So it just freed up tons of room. I mean, most of the stuff in that grip frame was really that battery. So getting rid of the battery just makes more room for that regulator. And just like the Etha 2 and the CS2, the CS1, the 170R's regulator is adjustable on the bottom of the grip frame. And they also come with the new pops on off. If you're not familiar with that pops on off, it's the best. They're very, very easy to use. They go on and off very simply. And then servicing this regulator is also really easy. There's just 2 big screws on the bottom of this underneath that pops on off. The pops just comes off that trigger frame and the regulator just falls out. So it's very easy to service now. It's not like it was hard before, it's just cleaner and slicker now. On the back of the trigger frame is still gonna be the same OLED board that was on the Gtek 160R, and the Gtek 5s. It's really bright, it's very easy to see, but not so great in direct sunlight. That's kind of one of the more advantages, or it is an advantage I should say, of like the CS2 when they're using these LCD screens. They're just a little bit easier to see in direct sunlight, but still, on the 170R, it's not like you can't see the thing in the daytime. They've also changed the trigger a little bit. It's adjusted the same. It just looks different. Previously, they had that scythe trigger, the little curved style trigger, and now they're going to that blade trigger. It's totally all preference. I don't like it. I've never been a fan of blade triggers. Talk about that all the time. I prefer the deuce triggers that Planet Eclipse really doesn't ship on any of their guns. But if they're not doing deuce, I prefer the scythe. Yeah, it's not a big deal. You can just buy different trigger faces. Planet Eclipse sells them for 20 bucks. So if you don't like this blade trigger like I do, you can just change it out if you don't like it. So while I said the trigger frame is still gonna feel fairly similar, it's using the same grips, it's got the same diameter and stuff, the foregrip is massively different. Mainly because they've gotten rid of the air transfer pipe. So I had mixed feelings about these AT pipes. I thought they were dumb. I didn't like the design. I thought it was just weird, like it's just odd. But in practical use, I really liked it. I hold my gun kind of weird, so let's grab this thing. Let's find it, hold on. Okay, so 170R. So when I hold the 160R, or any of these guns really, I tend to kind of hold my hand on the side, so you can kind of see like I hold it sort of weird on the side of there. So I liked that AT pipe right there. It actually helped me like stabilize the gun a little bit better. So getting rid of it, I do find that it's just not as stable for me. I really feel like I'm in the minority here. Not a lot of people are feeling that way. Most people hate the AT pipe, so. I also find it hard for me to like explain how these guns feel, because I think that's one of the more important parts. Like how well these paintball guns are fitting in our hands is kind of important. And when I like hold this thing, the foregrip to me feels good. It's made well, it's a good diameter, but it's just too freaking small for me. Like when I put this in my hand, look, my hand is below the foregrip. Like I completely hide it. So when I hold it, I kind of just like doesn't fit in my hands well. I don't know, I just got monster hands. Like my hands are just too big. It's not like the gun's fault. So I don't really like the way that front foregrip feels, but it's just because my hands are baby tiny. Not baby tiny. My hands are weirdly big. I don't know, baby tiny. I don't know. Maybe the gun's like baby small. No. So yeah, it's all totally gonna come down to preference. Yeah, I'm glad they got rid of that AT pipe though in general. I think most people don't like it. So it's a good move going away from it, but I don't know. It's weird, like I thought about the EMEC in this thing too, and even the EMEC, I'm not prepared, I don't have my EMEC here. It's over there. Okay, so even this EMEC, like the foregrip's just slightly longer. I mean, it's like this much longer, but like, notice that, right? Like it's longer enough where you can see it stick out the bottom still. And just that little bit makes a big difference for me, and I like that teeny bit longer foregrip. Another thing I kind of find annoying about the foregrip is, unlike the CS2 or CS1, the batteries don't come out really easy. The foregrip does just slide off like normal, just like CS1, CS2s, but the 9-volt battery doesn't fall out very easy. You kind of wiggle it around, I can't grab it, I can't get the thing out. They do put a hole in the back of this thing, so you could get a stick or like here an Allen wrench and, you know, pop the thing out. I don't know, it's just kind of annoying. It's like, okay, the foregrip comes off without tools, but you kind of need a tool to take the battery out. I don't know. Another thing that's coming off now without tools are the eye covers. And the 170R coming with those like latching toolless eye covers, just like the CS2. You just pop this latch back, eye cover falls off. It's really, really easy to get in there and clean them now. You may also notice that on these eye covers as well, they have the new light pipe system. So this light pipe was first seen on the, I think ETHA 2, might have been CS2, drawn a blank, either way. The eyes hit the bottom of that light pipe and then are like trajected or penetrated, I don't know, into the breech of the gun, and then the eyes work. It's just kind of cool. It helps get away from eye wires and stuff on here. Makes it easier to clean these things. You just pop the eye cover off, then you can just rub stuff down. You don't have to worry about pinching wires or breaking stuff like you have in previous guns. It's just cool and kind of a slick design. And on the inside of the 170R, Planet Eclipse are still using the GammaCore, which is a good thing. Normally we're like still using, like it's disappointing, but the GammaCore is amazing. It is definitely one of the better bolt systems ever made. It's super reliable, quiet, easy on paint, reliable, everything's good about them. I might have said reliable twice. Either way, they're very reliable. They're just good, like anything you'd expect, anything you'd want from a gun in the way it shoots, the 170R does that. GammaCores are awesome. There's a reason why they developed the thing for the ETHA 2 and then made a better, kind of nicer version of it for the CS2. The thing just works forever and they're phenomenal. And then the 170R is coming with that same solenoid that the 160R or Gteks had. So we should expect very similar performance from the 170R when we're like comparing it to the 160R or the Gtek, mainly because they're using that same bolt system, same solenoid. The regulator's a little bit different, but I wouldn't expect much performance difference from that SL6 regulator from the SL4 regulator. It's just changed mainly because they moved it and they just called it something else. It's really the same regulator. Final thoughts. I like it and don't like it. So for the most part, all of the paintball guns Planet Eclipse makes are very good. I mean, for the most part, like they're all just very good. They're made well, they're reliable, the performance is awesome, they're just good guns. So this Gtek 170R with that GammaCore, maybe with that new upgraded regulator system, boards, solenoids, all that stuff, it's all really good. So no question about it, this gun is gonna perform well. Anyone who picks this thing up will like it, I mean, for sure. It's gonna perform great. My biggest problem is just the way it feels. I'm not a fan of that ergonomics. The foregrip's too short for me, but that's just because I got weird hands. I don't like that blade trigger, so I'd end up changing the trigger out. So it's a good gun. I just don't know if it feels right to me. But that's, to me, I don't know what it's gonna feel like to you. So things I like, they changed. I really do like they got rid of the AT pipe. It's just kind of weird. So it's a definite cleaner, better design without that air transfer pipe. I like how they added the pops on off. I like how they added the light pipes and you can remove those eye covers without screws. I think those are all really good things and kind of things we'd probably come to expect as we've seen them on some of the Planet Eclipse previous guns. The main thing I don't like, and really I'd say the only thing, is just the ergonomics. I really wish that foregrip was a little bit longer. Other than that, like, I don't know. It's a good ass paintball gun. And this is the gun we kind of expected, really. A 160R that's just been modernized. The very first video I did on this channel was a 160R review. It's super embarrassing. You can watch that right there if you want.